Hello everyone and welcome to Halogen 7a. Today we are going to discuss the importance of questioning through the history of science. I'll be referring to A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking throughout this video. So I suggest you to at least read a few pages of that book, not just to understand this video, but to learn more about our universe. Stephen Hawking makes his introduction with a real-life situation, where there is a lecture on astronomy given by a scientist, and an old woman who is in denial of what the scientist said during that lecture. According to what Stephen Hawking says, the woman believed that Earth is flat and it stands on an infinitely long tower of turtles. After I read this short story, my impression of that old woman was not good, and I assume you too, right now, have a bad impression of that old woman. Do you? However, in the following paragraph, what Stephen Hawking says dazzled me and probably other readers as well. Most people would find the picture of our universe as an infinite tower of turtles rather ridiculous. But why do we think we know better? What do we know about the universe and how do we know it? Where did the universe come from and where is it going? Did the universe have a beginning, and if so, what happened before then? What is the nature of time? Will it ever come to an end? Can we go back in time? We can ask a lot of questions about our universe, and from here I conclude that we should question everything, even though that thing is a flat earth model placed on an infinite turtle tower. And that's what scientists did to understand our universe fundamentally. Let's see how exactly that happened. Aristotle, a Greek philosopher who was interested in not just philosophy but other subjects like biology, physics, metaphysics, music, and politics, found out that Earth is round. He did that by looking at the moon and how Earth shadows the moon as if it has a round shape. The most commonly used observational method to prove that the Earth is not flat is simply going to a harbor and observe ships coming from the horizon. You will realize that you will see the ship's mast first, then its body. Anyway, Aristotle referred to different methods to form an idea of how things work out on a macro level. He came up with a model where Earth is the center of the universe. Stephen Hawking says that Aristotle believed in a geocentric model due to some mystical reasons. Then Claudius Ptolemy, who was a Greek astronomer and a mathematician, elaborates Aristotle's idea into a complete cosmological model. Churches at the time adopted this model since it is in accordance with scripture. The geocentric ideology is also present in the Bible. Now that the churches adopted the geocentric model, a mathematician and an astronomer, Nicholas Copernicus, believed otherwise. Perhaps for fear of being branded a heretic by his church, Copernicus circulated his model anonymously. And I mean no offense to the religion of Christianity. People of a certain ideology or a religion, which is everyone, tend to exclude those who defy their ideology. For example, at the time, 1575, Sultan Murad III was forced to shut down an observatory in Istanbul with artillery shots. Due to the clergy's fatwa, and due to the protests happened against the observatory, he had to shut it down. This kind of ruling out is also present in the scientific society. For instance, in the 19th century, Einstein's work and discoveries had always been underestimated by the most prestigious German professors of the time. But the world has seen what he discovered despite the arrogant professors, low budget, monotonous days in a patent office, and a family he had to look after. You can check out the National Geographic's TV show called Genius. It shows Albert Einstein's life on different aspects, from his family to his adventure in the world of science. I found it amazing and I believe you will like it. Okay, another example. In the 5th century BC, Hippasus, who belonged to a group called Pythagorean mathematicians, discovered that square root of 2 is irrational. In that era, numbers were something religious to that group, which had a dictum of all is number. This suggested that everything from music and art to physics and metaphysics can be explained by ratios of numbers. According to this belief, any number can be written as ratios. However, in the case of square root of 2 is irrational, some numbers cannot be written in ratios like 3 over 5 or 2 over 7. This was not supposed to happen according to the principle of all is number. Just because Hippasus crossed that line, he was excluded by this group of mathematicians and was punished. So, these kind of things just happen. I do not believe it is related to the teachings of the ideology, but rather to our nature. However, humanity has to start giving a chance to people who have a different kind of idea or belief. Because, as seen in the examples I mentioned just now, preventing others to share their point of view does not help humanity to develop, not just in science, but in other fields of research as well. Therefore, always consider the possibility that you could be wrong about what you know to be true. By the way, if you wonder what happened after Nicholas Copernicus' defiance against the geocentric model that results in the formation of the Copernican model of the universe, where the sun is the center of the universe. Galileo and Johannes Kepler found flaws on the Copernican model, which is the shape of the orbits. The Copernican model suggests that planets orbit the sun circularly. However, even Copernicus himself realized that his theory does not match observations where planets change in size. Kepler and Galileo said, no, they do not change in size. Their orbits are elliptical, not circular. But they did not know why the orbits are elliptical. Then came the scientist whose works are still well known even today, Sir Isaac Newton, 1687. Newton postulated a law of universal gravitation according to which each body in the universe was attracted toward every other body by a force that was stronger the more massive the bodies and the closer they were to each other. But Newton did not stop there. He questioned his theory. If each body in the universe is attracted, would the universe not collapse into one point? But wait, if the universe is infinite, that would not happen. And then we ask the question that previous scientists did not ask. Is the universe expanding or contracting? In 1920, the Hubble telescope observed stars' spectra shifting to red due to the Doppler effect. That means that stars were moving away from each other. We can model the expansion of the universe with a balloon and a marker. Now imagine an unblown balloon and put two dots on it. Blow air into that balloon and you will see the two dots moving away from each other. What scientists observed was that those two dots were moving away from each other. By the way, those dots are representing the stars in the universe, if you didn't understand. This might mean that the universe has a beginning, which is called Big Bang, and an ending, which is called Big Crunch, just like stars, or just like ourselves. Most of us already know what Big Bang is, but you might not have heard the Big Crunch. It is hypothesized that the expansion of the universe will reverse and everything in the universe will concentrate at one point. This is just a theory. It has no evidence whatsoever. But the second law of thermodynamics, which is the entropy law, might be describing the end of our universe. Entropy is also called a measure for randomness or disorder. Most of the chemistry textbooks I have seen use the word spontaneity to describe entropy. This particular law suggests that universe's entropy is always positive, which is also related to the law of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be made or be destroyed, but it can be distributed through conversion. As energy gets distributed each and every day, universe's entropy also increases, since this order increases when something is distributed. It is assumed that one day all of the energy existing in our universe will be evenly distributed. If this happens, there will be no more heat transfer. This kind of a scenario can definitely be seen as an end. This sounds almost like a reality, but we cannot be 100% sure, because our previous theories were almost sounded like a reality as well. Remember, the church adopting the geocentric model. They were so sure, it made perfect sense to them. But we found out that they were wrong. Today, in the 21st century, scientists are working on general relativity and quantum mechanics. Maybe some of you heard the string theory, which is also another theory that scientists are excited about. Who knows? Maybe our future discoveries will defy our previous theories. We have a long journey ahead of us. I am new to this YouTube thing. If I made any mistakes, please let me know in the comment section. You can also write what questions you ask yourself. After all, this is a channel for questioning. And let me remind you that there are no stupid questions. Thank you for watching.